What's up, guys? Welcome to another session of Malt Reviews. I'm Mike. With me is Narby.
What up? What up?
Today we're going to be reviewing Bunnahabhain 18.
All right.
This is natural color, unchill filtered, and a unique 46.3% alcohol by volume.
All right.
The Bunnahabhain is an Islay distillery, so I wouldn't say it's quite as smoky as an Ardbeg or Lefroy. It's a nice lighter, maybe not as light as Col Ila, but it's a nice balance in the middle, peat and smoke. Usually like it quite a bit. Let's check out the color.
You can definitely tell that there is some sherry influence in here without even putting it to the nose.
Oh, yeah.
The color is, it's a nice full golden color.
Bingo.
So right off the bat right there, beautiful nice color here on the nose. The first thing I get is some matchstick flavors. Sometimes that could be a unique thing, and other times it could be more on the sulfury side. And this particular time, at least right off the bat, it's a little bit on the sulfury side for me. So right away, it gets to my nose. It's a little off-putting. I kind of want to lean back a little bit. So not that enjoyable. You know, you let it breathe a little bit, that tends to settle down a little bit, and you can start experiencing some of the other stuff that's in there as well. What do you think, Mikey?
I'm getting a little more, it's not quite a big deal for me, a little more bonfire. So like not so much a fire that's been put out, where it's like kind of the rotten matchsticks or the after effect of a fire like the next morning, you know, campfire. I'm getting like a nice live smoky bonfire. I actually like it a lot.
And the more you let it breathe, and I've only let it breathe for about a minute here, the more you let it breathe, it goes more along the lines of what Mike said. Right off the bat, for me at least, it tends to be a little more off-putting with those sulfur notes. Even right now, as I'm nosing it, as Mike is talking about that campfire, I am getting a little bit of that, and in that aspect, it is somewhat enjoyable, but that sulfuriness is not completely gone, and I can't get that out of my mind. It almost has, this is going to sound terrible, almost like a rotten smell to it. I'm not saying this is a bad whiskey on the nose whatsoever, but I'm experiencing a little bit of that, and that is going to downgrade the whiskey a few points for me. Besides that, let's dig in and find some other flavors here in this whiskey. Definitely some rich chocolate. Some rich, really rich raisins, dark raisins. Maple syrup.
Yeah, after these moments we're talking, the bonfire has gone away quite a bit. It's kind of in the background, like it's happening, but it's at a distance. I can still kind of smell it, and the sherry influence is coming through. So I'm getting all kinds of nice honey glazed walnuts, dates, figs, milk chocolate, like Narby said. Even some more orchard fruits, like some nice apricots and plums. It's coming in quite nicely. It just took a little while there for that initial smoke, whether good or bad, to dissipate. And
Yep.
now the sherry's coming through quite nice.
This is the kind of whiskey, this style of whiskey, where if I pour the glass and I just let it sit for 30 minutes and then come back to it, let it breathe for 30 minutes, it's going to improve probably 2-3 points for me. Because usually when you get a little bit of those sulfur notes, sometimes it goes away mostly, sometimes it goes away a little bit, but with air, it tends to go away at least a little bit. And with this one, most of it is starting to go away. It's like half gone for me right now. So I imagine if I let it breathe for like another 20 minutes or so, that it would continue to improve. But it's pretty unique. It's got a lot of things going on, some positive, some negative. but at least it has a lot going on, and it challenges you to kind of dig in there and examine the whiskey, which is kind of fun when you drink a lot of different whiskeys, to kind of challenge yourself to dig in there and figure it out a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Check out the palate?
Yeah. Same as the nose. The initial taste on my palate, a little bit of sulfur, a little bit of that campfire that Mike was talking about. That becomes a forefront. And let's not forget, this is an Islay whiskey. We didn't talk much about those peaty flavors when we were just nosing it. But on my palate, secondary, I'm experiencing that peat smoke as well, and some oysters and some of that sea salt. It's actually a very salty whiskey. I'm getting some licorice as well on my palate, a little coffee. You know, it's really unique there, and a little bit of those sherry-influenced flavors in terms of chocolate and caramel and rum raisin, along with a little bit of bitter wood spice as well, more in the background.
Yeah, just going to say, very similar. The initial hit is smoky wood, and not as good for me as on the nose, where it was more like campfire, bonfire. But then that goes away right away, and yeah, you're getting crazy amounts of delicious salted black licorice, and kippers, even like sardines, like that salty, and then taking you to all of these kind of ocean elements, sea spray, wet rocks. But then all of a sudden it comes back to the good bonfire, kind of the sweet, fresh bonfire and campfire. So it's quite complex and quite unique. It's really good, and it's a bit of a challenge. It keeps changing.
On the finish, it's really salty and smoky. Like Mike said, sardines, it's like really, really salty. I'm getting my finish and my palate right now is just sitting that like that sardine like saltiness with some black licorice, along with that smoky campfire, a little bit of that sulfur, and that wood spice sitting there on the finish, and it's lingering. In terms of score, I am going to directly compare, in terms of an enjoyment rating, I'm going to compare it to other 18-year-olds like Colila and Talisker and those type of whiskeys. And I'm going to say I enjoy some of those other ones a little bit better. For me, this is an 85 out of 100.
Yeah, for me, it's an 84. Because again, if you're paying the money for an 18-year-old, you do expect more. And the more that I drink it, it is getting a little overly drying, and when it does that, those offensive or less pleasurable wood spice elements come back. So I'm going to give it an 84.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to say I scored quite a few points lower for some of the negative elements, but I'm actually giving it a couple points, probably 2 points for the challenging aspect of it. It is an enjoyment rating that I am giving, and I enjoy digging through the whiskey and kind of trying to find things, and I'm like, oh, a little negative here, oh, a little positive here, oh, it's changing in this way, it's changing in that way. It gets a few points for me that way because I've tried so many whiskeys throughout my whiskey journey, and I like a little bit of a challenge in terms of digging in and finding stuff. So in terms of an enjoyment through the process of drinking it, I'm actually giving it a couple points for that. So right along the lines between that, 84, 85 mark sounds about right to me.
Absolutely.
All right, you guys. We'll see you guys in a week. Hope you guys like this review. I would love to hear what you guys think about this whiskey. I know there are other people out there who absolutely love this whiskey, and we don't absolutely love it. We certainly don't think it's a bad whiskey, but I would love to hear what you guys think. Please click the thumbs up button if you guys like the video, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care.
Take care, guys. See you soon.